the end of 2003, Cox has done 90 fraudulent real estate deals.
90.
Totaling almost
excessive.
$4 million.
By the end of 2003, you had done that much?
The end number was, see, the number is always shifting. They said it's like 109 transactions is what the FBI said that I did. And they said I borrowed $11.5 million. Now he's saying, what do you say, $4 million?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
But at the St. Petersburg Times, Jeff Testerman is about to go to print with a
that's
major
what Jeff
expose
Testerman
of
found.
Cox's scheme.
Okay.
Cox catches wind that he's about to be front page news.
And Matt knew that if this came out, it was all going to come down on him.
I remember thinking if I ever got in trouble and had to run, I would do that. I would take a bunch of money and run.
Matt says, I got to get out of here. I got to leave. You know, you want to come?
Rebecca Hawk has known Matt Cox for just 6 weeks. Incredibly, she puts her 13-year-old son Bryce on a plane to her mom's house, says goodbye to him and hello to life as a fugitive.
It was so hard. And I was crying hysterically. And Bryce is like, Mom, you'll see me in 2 weeks. And Matt's standing there, and I'm crying.
I'm not
and
standing
thinking,
there. I'm
okay.
not
And
there
then
at all.
when Bryce got on the plane, Matt's like, you'll see him. It'll be okay. You're going to be able to see him as much as you want.
Never fucking
You
said that.
scoundrel.
Stop. I never said that.
How
Complete
dare you.
fucking bullshit. Complete bullshit. Listen. This chick, this fucking chick, man. Listen, when she gets arrested, you know what she said about me? When they first arrested her and immediately interviewed her? But, you know, remember I told you she fucking says she's not Rebecca Houck. She goes, my name is Rebecca Hickey. You have the wrong name. You have the wrong person. You guys are gonna. They end up putting her hand on the thing, and like for like 45 minutes or an hour, she like denies it till they finally put her hand down on the scanner, and then she's like, "All right, it's me." So her first interview with me or about me was, Cox is meek. He's charismatic. He's shy. He's not the kind of person that he's not aggressive. She basically paints me as a guy that's just is not an aggressive type person or a person that's whatever, mean-spirited, whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
Then she gets this lawyer with the Johnny Cochran law firm.
Oh, shit, really?
And it becomes, he's abusive, he's manipulative, he forced me to leave my son. He forced me to get a boob job. He forced me to... Are you out of your fucking mind? I knew you a month. We had a date on like a fucking Thursday night or a Friday night. I'm throwing my shit. This is when I find out that the police are... that I'm going to be arrested by the FBI within the next few days. I'm throwing my stuff into duffel bags. She's been calling me all day about our date. I'm not answering. She walks in my apartment or my house. As I'm throwing shit in, I'm like, hey, what's up? And she's like, you're not returning calls. What are you doing? And I was like, fuck, we got a date. I was like, listen, bad news. FBI's coming to arrest me. I'm out of here. And she says, wait, what are you doing? You can't leave. I love you. I want to come with you. We have this whole argument about her son. I'm like, what are you talking about? You got a fucking kid. You can't fucking, I'm leaving. I'm going on the run.
Right.
You can't come with me. And she's like, no, you don't understand. He was going back to live with his father. He basically lived with his father most of his life. She brought him from Vegas, brought him with her. She brought him with her, yeah, from Vegas. He'd been picked up twice for like being out after, like snuck out of her house after curfew. He got caught smoking pot. He was failing all of his grades. She's like, I can't handle him. He's too much. I'm sending him back to live with his father anyway. She's like, so she's like, look, he's going anyway back with his father. And I said, look, you don't understand. I said, you're not going to see this fucking kid again. I said, even if you see him, it'll be for a couple hours and it'll be random if you see him at all. And she's like, I don't care. I want the money. If I can see him every once in a while, that's fine. At least I can give him some money. At least, so she's just fucking begging to come with me. She follows me around for 2 or 3 days, won't leave me alone. And looking back on it, the truth is, I could have just fucking left her, but she was like really worried about it, really on me. And the truth of the matter, it was a major mistake to let her come with me. But at the moment, I was terrified. and I was leaving everybody I knew and everything I knew behind, and that's a huge fucking step to make.
For sure.
And so, I finally, just towards like the last day, I said, okay, look, you can come with me. And looking back on it, it's like, I should have done this. I should have, you get always 20/20 hindsight, it was just a major mistake bringing her with me. Major fucking mistake. And, and I really should have just left her. And for more than the reasons that she ended up just being this bipolar maniac. Other than just that, it was also because of her son. I should have made the decision for her. But the truth is, I'm going off on the run. I'm terrified, but I didn't have to be alone. And that's a big thing about going off. You're leaving everybody behind and everything you know behind, and you're alone.
Yeah.
So it's like, it would be easier with her there. And so I said, all right, you can come. But I certainly didn't convince her to come or try and get her to come or ask her to come or ask her to leave her kids, because then it turned into, he's abusive, he's manipulative, he made me get a boob job. I mean, are you out of your fucking mind? I'm not even a boob guy. Sure, boobs were fine. It's just, and then they focus in on the whole single mother. They don't mention Jana. Jana wasn't single. I mean, she didn't have any kids. I dated tons of women that didn't have any kids. They always see. You gotta practically cut this out because I get so fucking angry about the whole fucking thing. It just irritates.
Damn Johnny
it's
Cochran law firm.
I mean, what's so funny is that normally I'm very poised about the whole thing. Like, it was my fault and I'm apologetic and I do the whole thing. But this, it's like being just blatantly lied about. It just infuriates me. And it just, and what's so funny is that, I've talked to her since I've been out, right? And she's like, so like,
how did
normal.
that conversation go?
She ended up meeting some guy in the halfway house. They got married. She's got another kid. She's very nice. She's a nice person. Like now, and even she says, I'm like, you were a fucking maniac. And she's like, I was going through something, okay? She's like, it was a bad time for me. She goes, I'm much better now. I'm like, I even told her, look, we were talking about she told me did I tell you this? She told me her lawyer showed up drunk at her sentencing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she said, and Gail McKenzie, and she's talking, the U.S. attorney, she fucking said this, and everybody was pushing me to say this and say that, and Matt, she goes, you understand, I was trying to get my sentence reduced. I said, no, I understand. I said, but the problem is, now I have to live with it. I said, so, she goes, well, I'm sorry, I wish I could do something. If I could do something, I would. I go, you could go on the podcast with me. I said, you could go on a podcast with me and say what really happened. She goes, oh, no. She goes, I can't do that.
Why?
She said, because I've been telling my mother and my husband the story, she said, for the last 12 years or 10 years. She goes, no, I can't change now. Well, hopefully he doesn't see this podcast. So, and I told her, listen, I haven't asked her once, bro. I've asked her like 5 fucking times. I'm like, I'm telling you, then tell your husband, go to your husband. You have a good relationship. She says, oh my God, he's the best. He's amazing. He's a great guy. He's great. He's a great guy. Then he'll understand the situation you were in and you just ran with it because you didn't want to own up to the fact that you made some bad fucking decisions. So say, look, the guy's out now and I want to clear the air and I'll feel so much better about myself. I'll feel better about the situation. I want to do the right thing. She goes, no.
She ain't coming clean.
She goes, I'm not going to do that. She said, look, I can't do that. I said, okay. I said, well, I said, you understand? I said, at some point, if somebody asks me, I'm going to fucking say it. She goes, no, I understand, but he's never going to meet you. She's like, so she said, I understand. So we'll see what she says if I ever talk to her again.
Wow. Okay.
A few days later, on December 14th, 2003, Testerman's series Dubious Deals hits the newsstands. The reporter details a fraud worth more than $4 million. But Matt Cox is gone.
He was never seen in Tampa again, ever. The trail went cold for me for a while. Where Cox was, I didn't know.
The people who know him best assume he's fled the country.
They think he's gotten on the cruise ship and he's headed to some island south.
Cox's ex-girlfriend, Allison Arnold, is among those asking questions.
I always wondered, what happened to them? Where are they?
Allison has not been caught for her role.
Where did they get those photos of you? Those photos of you
I'm
wearing like the
assuming-
Superman shirt and sitting at the computer.
Assuming there. Well, I know the one chick next to me
Was that on your MySpace or something?
MySpace.
Was that not around in 03?
I don't even think that MySpace was around. I mean, was it?
When was MySpace around?
I don't know. I know this chick I met
When
named.
was MySpace started?
It's
2003.
2003.
Yeah, launched
Okay.
in 2003.
Well, I wasn't on it.
Oh, okay.
No, I would say that's probably Allison Arnold and probably Jana, because the one chick in the picture where I have a Superman thing and she has one, that's Jana.
Oh, okay.
One of Cox's scams. 6 months earlier, she poses as Rosita Perez and takes out fraudulent home loans. Though the police have not yet come knocking on her door, Allison is worried. She knows the heat's on.
I was a nervous wreck. I got a job as a waitress because I couldn't work for any bank. My hands would shake. My conscience was so heavy.
Allison decides to call the FBI.
So I spilled my guts out, said everything.
Allison tells the feds everything she knows to help them catch Cox. Allison thinks her cooperation will buy her immunity from prosecution. She's wrong. Eventually, she's sentenced to 2 years in prison for bank fraud.
You want to hear this?
Fuck.
Want to hear this?
Yeah.
You're gonna love this. So there's like 14 or 15 people on the indictment, right? So they've all been indicted, but the FBI doesn't do anything. They're waiting to catch me. I've talked to a bunch of people. Everybody's going in and saying, Matt did this, Matt did that. Some people are going and saying, no, so-and-so did this, so-and-so did this. They're saying, no, I didn't do that, so-and-so. So everybody's pointing, but they understand everybody who's involved. Because by the time they talk to me, they've walked in with a stack of fucking 302. Boom. They're like, I mean, you're done. So, which I know I'm done anyway. So the point is that they haven't investigated. They haven't arrested anybody. You've known about this for 6 months or so. And you haven't done anything. Why aren't you arresting? They're waiting to catch me because they figure we'll catch Cox. We'll catch the top dog. He'll just explain everything that happened. We'll crack everybody in the head and it'll be fine.
Right.
They don't expect that I'm going to be missing so long. Allison is riddled with guilt. And fear.
Right.
She's like, fuck, they're going to come arrest me someday.
Right.
So she goes into the FBI and says, I just want to tell you what happened, get charged, be sentenced, and be done with it. I'll cooperate against everybody. She initially, when she talked to him, she is thinking, I won't go to jail. I'll do probation at the most.
Yeah.
And I'll cooperate. So she goes in, she cooperates, she agrees to plead guilty.
Turns herself in. Just
Turns
walks
herself,
right in.
Nobody else does.
Jeez.
Guess who the only person that ends up like on that indictment that ends up going to prison is the only person that owns up to everything they did, cooperates against everyone, straight to fucking prison. You don't get shit. Fuck you. You go to prison. That's what they fucking did. Everybody else on the indictment, no, half them people are still working in banking.
Wow.
And that, I mean, I don't want to say hilarious, but fucked up. That's fucked up. Because you know the least culpable person in my entire indictment is Allison Arnold.
Really?
She walked into one bank, 2 closings. Didn't make a fucking, I think maybe I gave her like 10 grand for doing it. Like, hey, look, we really didn't make any money, but here's like 10 grand or something. And I'd been giving her money and she's closing loans. She's doing okay. But we didn't make any money, so where's their money to give you? There's nothing to give you.
What about the blonde girl? How much time did she get?
Oh, Becky?
Becky, yeah.
Becky
yeah.
wasn't a part of this conspiracy. She's a part of the next conspiracy when I take off on the run.
Oh.
So she's not even on my indictment.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Right. The only other person that goes to jail is Eric Tamargo, but he goes to jail not because of the indictment. He goes to jail because he's already on federal probation and he fails a fucking piss test. And because he's on this other indictment, they go ahead and they violate his probation and give him like 30 months or something. He goes to Coleman, he does the drug program. So, I mean, she's the only one on the indictment that goes to prison for the indictment. He goes to one on a violation. Because she felt bad.
Guilty conscience.
Yeah, guilty conscience. I mean, and it's just the nicest person. So.
Fuck.
Hefty sentence for somebody who had no previous criminal records. Really, I had no knowledge of everything that I was totally doing, but I followed along and did something, yes. Did I know it was illegal? Yes. You know, everybody knows that right and wrong inside, but I didn't think the consequences would be like this.
While Allison faces prison, Matt Cox and Rebecca Hawk head to Atlanta.
By this point, I was definitely getting cocky.
When American Greed returns, Matt Cox lives out a real-life game of catch me if you can.
That's true.